Good morning. I hope everyone had a great night and enjoyed watching the Democratic debate. I will tell you that while 2 hours was shorter than usual, it still seemed long by about an hour. 10 candidates on the stage, still a lot of people to get through, and it was great because there were no opening statements, so we didn't have to sit through all of the vote for me, I'm running for president, and I'm going to change the world, and America's at a crossroads, and we need your support. But it was interesting because issues that should have been forefront really weren't, right? The first thing they talked about was impeachment. Guys, that's the last thing we should be talking about at this debate. I mean, let's face it, impeachment is happening, the hearings are going on, but the reality is that they were on that stage to talk about the future of America and what they were going to do in the next 4 years if they became president. And so I thought that was kind of really just not appropriate and not necessary going into last night's debate, but it is what it is. As we saw the other candidates talk about, what they were going to do, Cory Booker had a really strong showing. We saw Mayor Pete Buttigieg was not able to be rocked in any manner. He held his own. He was sticking to his topics and he was making sure that he was answering the questions for the most part. When farm subsidies came up, he kind of sidestepped the issues. But we saw that Kamala Harris also is using pronouns when talking about the presidency of her and she, and that was kind of exciting for people looking forward to a female presidency. And then Amy Klobuchar, she did really well. I really liked her and I liked what she had to say, although I was really confused as to why her hair kept shaking. I don't know. But she was out there and doing her thing. And then Tom Steyer came out strong talking about climate crisis and the climate change and how we need to really work towards solutions. Otherwise, we won't have a planet to be living on. And eventually Florida will be underwater. So if you're looking to buy waterfront property, I suggest looking to Kansas because in easily 10 years, that could be waterfront property. Andrew Yang came in and provided us comedic relief when he talked about how he would address Vladimir Putin after he won the presidency. And then we saw Joe Biden and the wheels just came off from him on the debate stage toward the end. I think it might have been past his bedtime, but he stumbled and he made really weird gaffes and he really confused the Me Too movement. And then he was talking about how he came from the Black community. And there was just so many questions left for me for Joe Biden. I don't understand. When we saw Elizabeth Warren, she came out and kept talking about her healthcare plan. She also talked about, the wealth tax. And Bernie Sanders, guys, this is the first debate that we had where Bernie Sanders was not screaming at us. I don't know about you, but I actually liked his tempered tone. He seemed to have dialed it back. He didn't seem like some angry guy who just missed his subway. He was just really, tempered and he did have a couple outbursts when talking about healthcare and he's like, well, I wrote the damn bill. And, I'm glad that he was able to come in and have a conversation with us and not scream at us for 2 hours because 2 hours was a very long time. 10 candidates, it's a lot of people to get through. But for the most part, I would say MSNBC did a solid job in allotting the candidates ample time to answer the questions as well as to answer back if they had been tagged in a previous response. But who I think should not have been on the stage? Tulsi Gabbard. She has zero understanding of American foreign policy, and I can assure you she's the last person that I would want in the White House dealing with foreign policy and national security. She sat down with Bashar al-Assad, and let's face it, what is she going to do? She talks about having to do the hard things and having to negotiate with our allies and our foes abroad, but does that mean that she's open to negotiating with terrorists? Look, I think she was totally off the mark. I'm still confused how she ended up on the stage. I mean, we could have easily allowed Marianne Williamson to show up. At least she would have brought us unity, and we could have sang Kumbaya. But really, Tulsi, it's time to fold up the campaign and go home. Go back to Hawaii because I'm telling you right now, we don't need you on the national stage or in the Oval Office. So what were your thoughts about last night? Is 2 hours a good time slot, or were you at the end just being like, I need a nap for easily the next 4 days? Because that was a lot of information. I would love to hear your comments, and I would love to know what your thoughts were. Who had the strongest showing? Were you all about Tom Steyer, or are you still part of Yang Gang? Guys, he only mentioned once that he was going to give everyone $1,000. Only once. I couldn't believe it. I was shocked. I really was hoping for a lot more, but nevertheless, Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I can't wait to hear what your thoughts were about last night's debate, who you thought had the strongest showing, who's the front runner? Is Mayor Pete Buttigieg gonna finally become the front runner in the national polls? I don't know, we'll have to wait and see, but thanks so much for tuning in, and I can't wait to hear what you guys have to say. Have a great day, talk to you soon, bye!